Welcome to Learning with Boys. My name is Rachel. I am excited to share something a little bit different than usual. I am going to do a comparison of two math programs. One is Learn Math Fast, and I have talked about that the last about year now, and also Denison Math, which is beginning to be very well known in the homeschool community. Now, I am going to be upfront and honest with you. I am not using Denison. I have not actually used Denison. I'm going to give my review through my research and some thoughts on signing up for the 1 week free trial. And the reason I'm doing this is because, for one reason, I have been asked, and I just want to give you my thoughts, really my son's thoughts, on how he learns and why specific math curriculums might work better for some children and other math curriculums work better for other children. Welcome to Learning with Boys. Again, my name is Rachel, and I am a homeschool mom. We are on our 18th year. So I've been doing this for a while. We have used several different math curriculums. I have graduated 3. My oldest really did well with Matthew C all the way through. He is still one that I could call on if I have a math question and he could help me. I don't mind math, so that might put a different perspective on it. Sometimes math will scare off other parents, sort of like teaching writing for me would make me very nervous. And as you grow, I think as a homeschool mom, whatever subject you struggle with, you will grow also. So I want to encourage you there. And I just thought this would help because I do know that Denison Math has some very good things. I'm actually going to turn the camera around and just share what I have looked at and had learned. I didn't realize they even had, and I thought was very interesting and I think is important. I have watched some YouTube videos, and I will tell you, I was curious, when you have an online program and your kid can just sit down and watch it and it'd be easy, why not? But I'm going to share some of my thoughts as I compare it to Learn Math Fast. So let's turn the camera around. I want to give you a look at Denison on the computer. I don't have any actual books because, again, this is something I have not used. And I would love if you have used it, if you want to share extra what specifically that you love about it, or any comments or questions or concerns that you have about it. So that would help people as they're trying to decide also. All right, let's turn the camera around. Okay, let's look at Denison Algebra. If you start at their site, there will be a video from Mr. Denison, which I did watch and recommend for you to watch. There is lots of information that you can read about how this curriculum works and join the community. So up here at the top, we're going to click courses and talk about pre-algebra. Let's look right here. Let's see. Math That Makes a Difference, course placement guide, placement facts and questions, and choosing standard versus success. Okay, so this was something I'll talk about in a minute that I didn't realize. And then you have pre-algebra, which is the main one I'm going to talk about, but I am going to mention algebra because of that, success and standard. Now, pre-algebra is 175. Let's explore it. There's another video, which I recommend you do all your research. There is this, if you click this, this is just going to give you a little bit more information. Always scroll down because you'll find lots more. Course preview, a scope and sequence, which is always good to look at, and a week free trial, which I highly recommend. So thankful that curriculums do that now. And then a little bit more about the curriculum, but at the very bottom there's some answers and questions. So what exactly is pre-algebra, and do students really need to take it? Very good question. What is the prerequisites for Denison algebra? Let's see what else. Is my student ready for Denison? And is a success version, is there a success version of this course? Okay, there is not, and I'll talk about what success version is compared to standard, but they say that if you do the pre-algebra, then that will give you a better idea of if they'll do standard or if they'll do the success version. So, does pre-algebra count for high school? Check with your state and your transcript goals. So those are some facts. There's lots more questions you can check there. Let's go back to the courses. Let's go down to algebra. So you have a Algebra 1 and a Success Algebra. I'm going to explore this course and let's see what that is about. Again, you can look at the details, purchase details, course preview, scope and sequence, and 1 week free trial. Okay, looking at this, let's go down. I wanted to look at how can I tell if success is right for my student. So this is designed for a student who doesn't seem to get math. They can't remember lessons. They just learned. They get overwhelmed when they're faced with a multi-step problems. This course is written with the understanding that these students may quickly forget what is taught. And Success Algebra is geared towards students who face extra hurdles. This includes students that are diagnosed or suspected with dyscalculia, dyslexia, ADHD, where math is difficult to understand, or extremely high levels of math anxiety. Yes, this course is not designed for students with ADHD or ADD or other neurological differences who are gifted in math. So, and then it talks about some more difficulties. So that gives you an idea, and it tells you what's the difference between these courses. Lots of other questions. Always go down to the bottom. There's lots of questions and answers to this one. But I wanted to share this with you because there is 2 different types of math, and I didn't realize there was 2 different ones for the Denison. I think it's algebra. Let's go back. Yes, and geometry and algebra 2. And then I think once you get to advanced algebra and trigonometry, they're not offering the success because they feel like, well, if you are someone that's going to be advanced, then you would be just taking the regular anyways. So I just wanted to share that with you also. And just going to mention about algebra and one thing I noticed in a lot of the videos, and that is how thick the book is. So I did watch a video. Somebody did a very good detail, and I was noticing that they give you a lot of space to write the problems out, so you don't actually need a notebook. I noticed when we did Saxon, you always need an extra notebook to do all the work. I really feel like the book could be quite thick because it's giving you all that extra space to do the problems, which is great, because then at the beginning of sections there is reminders and formulas, it looked like. So to me, that was all good things, and I like that you can print and download that first week also, so you know what the workload looks like. Okay, so for me, this looked very intriguing, and honestly, I would highly consider it. So I'm not against Denison at all. I have not personally used it, so I'm not gonna say, oh, this was great, this worked for my child. So I'm hoping that we'll have commenters below that will encourage you as the listener if they have used it. Now, there are things that I do like about it. I don't mind the video. I like that the workbook has enough space for solving the problems and not having to have a separate worksheet, because if you ever try to look over your kid's sheet and match it with the right paper, that sometimes can be very difficult. I do like that, and this was not, I didn't mention this, but I have seen it in some other YouTubers' videos. I don't even remember which one, but they have a spot for you to take notes for the videos, which is also great because it helps you not get distracted from watching a video, which can easily happen, especially with kids. So definitely some things that I personally liked about it, but again, I have not used it. So I did want to share some differences with the curriculum that we are using, which is Learn Math Fast. Now, I do want to say that my second son really struggled with math. I do believe he had dysgraphia, which is difficulty with writing, but I also wonder if he had dyscalculia, which is not so much the reading. He was a late reader. He could have dyslexia, but if he does, it's very slim. But dyscalculia is dealing with numbers and talking about remembering what was presented the day before and some of the things they mentioned in the success version of algebra. I felt that my son could definitely have benefited from that. I don't know how slow it is. It's not that he needed, it's not that he would have needed any type of advanced math for college. He did go to a two-year school. So I probably would have loved to know about that. So I hope that is helpful to somebody. Now, let's compare that with the curriculum. My 8th grader now, we started this probably about a year ago in his 7th grade year into the year, and I want to say it might have been around the 1st of October. I will link a couple of videos. The first one, the big review that I did for it after we tried it for a while. Now, this is their pre-algebra. So that's what I wanted to compare was pre-algebra. Now, I will tell you with this Learn Math Fast, they have 2 books that you start with. This is book 3. The first book is addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, all long. Then the next books are decimals and percentages, fractions. I can't remember the order it is. So I noticed with Denison that they do review that a little bit at the beginning, which is good. That's great. But this did not. This sort of jumped into it. It's not a very big book, but I'll explain to you probably why. Here in a minute, I'm going to turn the camera around, so I will actually be showing you some of the book also. It's different because I feel like the curriculum's different. There are options where you can look at samples. You can do a placement test also, so there's lots of options there. Now, for me, what he did in 7th grade was perfect preparation for the pre-algebra. I'm getting ready to turn the camera around and show you. Okay, a couple things I wanted to share with you is that they do have this big bookmark. In the Denison math, I noticed that they had things I think that were going to be somewhat similar at the beginning of different sections, which I think was great. This tells you what volume 1 and 2, which he's already finished. Volume 3, it's going to have order of operation, solve for x in terms of y, exponents, roots, and multiply exponents and slope. So he'll still be learning that. He's only on lesson 8, and we'll see how far he gets. And then he is supposed to also do book 4, which you see here is volume 4, and some formulas, area of a square and rectangle and circle, and some special triangles and metric units there. So he can hang on to this and keep this handy with him. So all right, and this is book 4. I'm not going to open this up yet because we haven't even started it, but it is basic geometry. So he will do that. There is an actual high school geometry. So Learn Math Fast Pre-Algebra pretty much starts out with what is x, solve for x. I'll get in a little bit closer, and again, you can look at all this online. He is only on 8, which is proportions and unit conversions. He'll be doing that. And then right before each chapter, it doesn't really mention this up here, there is like a test. Now, I do not do actual tests. I may let him take a couple days on the test if it's long. It really depends. I am working up on his strength and how long he can work on math problems, and I feel like that is improving so much. If you watch some of my old videos from his math, he was really struggling with getting very exhausted. Now, I will tell you, he knows that morning time is the best time that his mind is fresh and he can actually spend quite a bit of time. He really has had no problem understanding and comprehending most of this, and he reads, so this is not an online program, he reads it himself. I have not read any of the book. I will look at the answers in the back. He has not even done that yet. I'm pretty sure you can look at this first chapter as a sample online, and then they have a worksheet. Now, I'm going to show you the notebook because I print out the worksheets, which you can do. You don't have to. They can write in the book, but I'll show you why here in a minute. So this is just lesson 1 and quite a few problems. And again, I have explained this before, but I will let him do this one day, this one day, and then finish up the next. And that has so far worked. So he will take a few days. He can probably finish lesson 1 and start on 2. Actually, this was lesson 1A by the end of the week. And then we'll start again. 1, 2, 3. I feel like the more he practices, it really, really sinks in, and I don't want him to move on until he has this. So, this is the lesson he will start on this week. We haven't done this, conversions. This reminds me of physics. So, we'll see how he does with that. I usually feel a little overwhelmed sometimes when I look at this, but for him, he reads it and comprehends it. There's times where he might get to the end or have a question. He has had a couple questions and earlier on, and I've gone over things with him, but it doesn't take but a few minutes. So, and then he'll work on these. And I may just let him do 2 or 3 at a time. But let me show you something extra that they supply if you need a little bit more practice. Okay, I have this school year decided just to go ahead and get a notebook and I can print off his worksheets. And so I have all these printed out. I haven't printed out the extra, but I'll show you what they look like. There are supplement worksheets. These are actually the answers that I have printed off that he did earlier. So this would have been volume 3, lesson 3. The answers for the main worksheets are actually in the back of this book, but you can also print those off if you want to. So I'm very thankful to have extra worksheets, and we keep all the work. Okay, so here is his worksheets in the back, and I just keep them up. And here was a supplement worksheet. He did a few things on it, but we really didn't need it for that lesson. He has another worksheet. Let's see if there was another supplemented one. He did. I feel like it was a few. Oh, here, lesson 3, the answer one I showed you, is when I really felt like he needed a little bit extra work. So we decided to start adding those in. I know his math writing is very scribbly, so I'm trying to. Okay, so 7A, he's just starting to work on this week with ratios, and he's doing fine with that. Okay, so I hope that gave you a little comparison idea for Learn Math Fast. You just have this one book, and it actually has the answers in the back. So I'll show you that. So, and then you do have the option to grab more offline, which would be like supplement extra pages if they are struggling on one of the chapters and you want a little bit more review. I will maybe print off 5 to 10 lessons at a time and then the answer sheets. And then I am just keeping them in the folder in case we need them. So it seems like that is working out really well. He's not always needed the extra supplement sheet, especially in the last few chapters. So there's some chapters he can go through much quicker and some that will take a little bit longer. So he did, I will tell you, he did look at the graphing and he's like, what is this? But so I'm very curious how it will go with him reading the explanation and understanding it and doing it. I will let you know how that goes. The final thought, and I was going to do the 1-week trial of Denison because I was really curious. I mean, he's going into algebra. Will this keep moving forward with him because it's working so well? So I showed him, I said, look, there's a short video. He said, no, I don't want a video. He was determined not to even try it. And I am not going to make him do an extra math right now. And I will tell you, at the beginning, it was review, I think, of multiplication maybe and division, which actually at the beginning I thought about reviewing, but I just did some orally review just to see, like, is he going to be able to snap off answers to me? And he did fine. Now, we've come a long way, a very long way. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that that was not normal for him to be able to remember to do that kind of stuff. And I do want to put a lot of credit out for this. I do know he's older, but I'm thankful it's sticking. I think doing the extra review pages when he is struggling and making sure he solidly has it down is helping. So I will tell you that. But there are some that need the video. And I've heard wonderful things of him explaining things in a way that their kids understand. And that's important, I think, and very helpful. And I know there's other video options out there. I just appreciated this one having something that would be beneficial for somebody that was really struggling in a subject for whatever the need or special need may be. But they also have regular algebra, geometry, algebra 2. But for pre-algebra, again, it's just a normal review pre-algebra that will give you a general idea what algebra you would pick. This, you just move forward as you can. This is working for us, so we're going to keep staying with this. I do want to remind you, this curriculum has been given to us to try, and it was just a blessing. I know it was an answer to prayer for us that it is working. So they did send me this curriculum to share with you, and I do have a discount code below. This book itself, I think, is $38 now. So this would be pre-algebra, and I'm pretty sure the other book is around the same price. The coupon code is for 10% off. So I do want to give you like a price comparison there. Now, I do have to print off some things if I want to use the extra sheets or if I don't want him to write in the book. So I will also share that thought with you. I would love if you've used either one. If you're able to actually do a comparison because you've used both, please comment below and just help homeschoolers out that are curious, that may read reviews like I do. I always read the reviews if I'm curious about a curriculum to see what other opinions are. So, all right, I appreciate you all watching. I hope this was helpful, and we will talk to you again soon.